Hi everyone, welcome back to the 4x4 Fab Shop. Got a lower diff skid. This is built for a newer JL, but for the Dana 30s. Modifying it for this Dana 44 that we're going to be putting under the Jeep. And what we're going to do here pretty much will translate if you want to build this from scratch as well. We're just going to be able to reuse the lower pan for the front and to go around the housing itself. You'll be able to use that if you're going to build this from scratch or convert an old one like this. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Now let's dig in. So depending on the tooling you have, two ways we can cut this off. So we'll buzz the first part of this off with the standard old angle grinder with cutoff wheels good from Rockmount welding alloys. Alright, so that's an easy way everybody can do it at home. Angle grinder. We still got to grind the surface down, so there's going to be some secondary grinding. Alright, so let me show you the other way. We are a Rockmount Welding Alloys affiliate, so any of these grinding wheels or any of the welding wires, drill bits, anything you see on this channel can definitely all be bought there, and I'll put a link for all this in the descriptions. Alright, so that's two ways to move steel like that. If you got a plasma, use a plasma. Either way, you need an angle grinder. And I really don't think that the cutoff wheel really did a bad job. It actually cleaned it up a little better in spots. For these little tabs here, I think the angle grinder was the better of the two methods because it's clean, one and done. So this is why it's always good to keep a little cardboard laying around. Alright, so we're going to come off the bottom of this 1/4 inch. And then I think these two holes here are pretty close to the same location. So I'm going to mark a line here. It's 3 5/8 that I can locate these holes on. And that way, once I set this on here and I line up the bottom of the holes on that line, it should be fairly straight. So then I'm just going to transfer this. And I need to offset this line. I'm going to call it 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so I'm going to set this to 3/4 of an inch. And these don't have a lock on them, so I just pinch it. And it's not accurate. Just a good offset line. Got off there. So that's the inside. We'll get this cut out and we'll try to figure out what we're going to do with the outside. When I trace this, I'm going to leave this line just a little bit heavy. So here's an easy way to alter your template. See, we got that all lined up. Now I'm just going to transfer it. Now let's get that cut out. That flap disc makes pretty quick cleanup of that. So I'm actually pretty pleased with that. We got to all radius these out a little bit and then mark the holes. Alright, so we got it all clamped together, and I'm just going to use these transfer punches. So we've used these on many things. It's got a little point here at the end. It's nice for lining up the hole. You just drop in the hole and center point, the little point makes a dimple for you. Alright, and while I got this clamped on, I'm just going to run around it with the scribe. Because we'll end up clearing some of this out. There's no need for all that steel there on that edge. Yeah, that makes a really good... So we'll just put a couple of these screws in. Then what I'll do is I'll push up on it. And that way it'll give us our most clearance under it. And that way when I scribe around it, we should have the most amount of clearance. And we'll just drop in here and scribe around it. Just in case the sheet metal for the cover was offset in, I want to make sure that we're fairly close to the bottom of this. I don't want the skid plate just be hanging off bolts. So when you hit, I like for it to maybe touch the casting just a little bit. So how well you can see this. So this is why we did the casting versus the sheet metal. So here was a scribe for the sheet metal. About 1/8 inch down is the scribe for the casting. So there is a difference. So we'll offset this line from the casting down about 1/8 of an inch. And then trim this bottom edge and get it welded on. So what I need to do now is make the second part of this, which is just going to be a bracket that just goes across the back of this. And I'll have it pinch on these ears. So most of them take and they bend up a piece of all thread. So most of them take a piece of all thread like this and bend it up. So I might reuse that concept. See, if we make this plate that goes across here, I'm going to mark on here where I want this to go through, which is going to be right in this area. I'm just going to take a template gauge and push this up in there. So that's a profile, and that right there is what I need to put on the other piece of steel. So let's go trace this in and let's make that bracket. Alright, when I cut this, I shouldn't have inset this. This should have been flush. So we got to start over. Okay, so this is contoured. We'll end up bending some angle pieces that comes up. We need to take this ear off because this is why I wear the gloves and the face shield. Now, I was doing several things wrong looking at the video, but when it grabs, it actually rolls back and hits the back of my fingers. And if I wasn't wearing the gloves, that thing would have been a pretty deep cut. Alright, so we've got that tacked on. Trying to keep the drain hole lined up on the bottom there. Alright, so it's tacked in. I'm going to put some weld on this thing and then work on these ears. Okay, so we got the patch just kind of crudely on there. There's a lot of cleanup work needs done on this yet. So I'm going to weld this out. We'll eventually make a piece, we fill this in, and we'll make these tabs. I'm going to take the existing ears, I'm just going to mark where I want them. So that one will be there, this one will be there. I'm going to get those welded on, then up front will be anchored too. Got the front end of it all together. Alright, so we're just going to clean it up. Wire wheel it. I'll probably clean up a few edges like this, kind of blend those out a little bit, and to get a coat of paint on it. Alright, so we took a Dana 30 skid plate and totally reworked it. We had to make a whole new front section. That's where we made the template. And we had to remake the whole back section as well. That's where we came up with the contour gauge to get this back profile. We used existing clamp over the back, modified the ears. Right now we just got to paint it a flat black. But please remember to subscribe to the channel and give me some feedback whether you like this type of stuff or other things you'd like to see. Always love new ideas for fab work. Check out one of our affiliates, Rockmount Welding Alloys. We use all their sanding disc, filler rod, drill bits. Their mainstay is maintenance repairs, so you know, they can pretty much cover everything you need to do. So this is a 4x4 Fab Shop. See you in the next build.